Hey, welcome to the Wills Podcast. This is a space where we explore family business, logistics, leadership, and much more. Today on the podcast, Stacey McMillan. Today, Stacey and I talk about her career journey, talk about AI, electric vehicles, concerts, and much more. Glad you could join. Welcome to the podcast, Stace. We finally found a time.
Finally, yeah.
Our agents worked with your agents, and we got a time.
We got a time. Yeah.
Have you been on a podcast before?
No, I've never been on a podcast. I've listened to many podcasts.
You're a listener. You're a consumer.
Yeah.
I'm a consumer too. That was like one of the convictions of getting into podcasting was like, there's so much great content out there. Not that I thought that I had a huge, interesting perspective to offer the world, but I knew that through family business and like the Ottawa business community and different things, there was like a really great network of people to interview. So
yeah, no, I think it's great. Like I think podcasts are interesting and they've kind of come a long way. A lot of people spend their time commuting, listening to podcasts. See, I spend my time commuting, calling people on the phone. So I feel like freely speaking is something that comes kind of natural. So
do you ever know that you're going to be in the car for half an hour and you've got your call list like 2-3 names? Yeah.
As I told you, I drove here today and I took 2 calls. But I knew I had to take calls today, called 2 clients. And so
and Monday morning calls to a client, that must mean
I know.
That those aren't just check-ins.
They picked up.
Those aren't just check-ins.
I know.
So.
I was worried about the cell reception, but it was still strong.
Oh yeah, we're way out here in the countryside.
Yeah. I didn't have to wait for a boat to go by. So that was.
By the way, do you need a charge?
No.
While you wait?
I fully charged last night.
How long have you had the electric vehicle?
January. I got an electric vehicle January, but it's awesome. I don't even think to go to a gas station now. It's like a foreign concept. It's like I have to go to get a car wash. But it's incredible. Like full charge, I get 488 kilometers. So $600 a month on gas.
And you get to drive a big vehicle.
Big vehicle.
Do you find it? Do you love the irony of a Hummer and being electric? Like, don't you love that?
I know.
Irony.
It's like what do they call it? An oxymoron? Like where it's like
It's the last vehicle you were like, you look down all the main North American vehicles, and someone was like, that one. Let's make that one electric. Because that one historically was
not
a guzzler. Yeah.
A guzzler. Yeah.
Did you ever have an H2?
No.
Oh, so this is a first time Hummer.
This is the first time. Yeah. It's smooth. Doesn't make a noise. You know.
What's acceleration like when you put it in sport mode? Can you rock it?
Yeah, but it's noisy. Like it's kind of a box, like a Jeep sort of on the highway. So the music cranked and the kids yelling, it's sort of, but no, it rides, but the faster you drive, the more juice it burns. So like driving to Ogdensburg, I went to bring one of the kids to get their Nexus in the winter, and I had like 400 kilometers, and it was like a minus 20 day, and I was driving on the highway like, I don't know, 120, and I went from like 400 quickly down to like 288 by the time, like I almost was worried about needing to stop.
But you made round trip in one.
It's fine. You can see it. It's like, it's like when you leave your house without your phone charger, you start feeling anxious that your phone's going to die.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that your husband loves that there's another stressor.
Another stressor, right? Yeah.
Are we going to make it?
Yeah. I will tell you though, this is the craziest thing, and not many people know this, but if this podcast was last Monday, and it's not this Monday, I would have been a shell of a human. So last week, Sunday into Monday, our doorbell rang twice at 1:10 in the morning. Our dog's going off. My husband's like, it's a delivery person. I'm like, it's like exactly like when I told him my water broke. He's like, just go back to bed. I'm like, get out of bed. But there's no delivery person that rings the doorbell in the middle of the night.
Your husband did say go back to bed though when your water broke?
Well, he's like, are you sure? Like, I don't think we got to go. I think I got to wait. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure this is what happens from the course when your water breaks. You got to go to the hospital. Like, I wrote this down. Like, I think we got to go. Anyways, so he goes downstairs. I run to the front window, and there's 4 cop cruisers outside our house. And my heart is like pounding. My kids are sleeping, so I was like, okay. But I thought they were coming to deliver some like really crazy bad news. but my car was charging. And so when my car charges, there's like a light that sort of filters. It's like this cool feature that looks like it's, charging. Like this, every kind of panel hits up with a different
Really?
light. And yeah. And they were checking to make sure that no one, we knew that the light was on, or hoping that no one was trying to steal the vehicle. And anyways, 4 cops. That's not common to have 4 cops at your front step on a Monday morning. But
now they know. Now
now they
all
know.
the cops.
But I will say, I feel like my sleep these days is more valuable than my vehicle. I was like, you just woke me up. And so to fall back to sleep was kind of as you can imagine.
I got woken up by a cop at 1 a.m. one time, and it was just a plowing day. There's snow on the road. You can't park in Smith Falls on the side of the road. And it's 1 o'clock, but it was just like boom, 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 boom. So they had obviously been trying for a while. And I met this great Smith Falls lady cop in my underwear to go
out and move your car.
Move our vehicle, yeah. Other than that, the cop situation out in Rideau Ferry is pretty quiet. So
yeah, but yeah, it's rattling to get woken up that hour, especially over a vehicle.
It is. Well, glad that didn't happen again. And now your neighborhood knows. Yeah. So a few things we have in common is 1985.
1985.
Which means that
40.
Which means
you're
that
older than me though.
Milestone year.
Yeah.
What'd you do for
your my
birthday?
40th? It was in August. I just honestly, it was like over the Labor Day weekend, and just had some friends over by the pool. It was one of those weekends, or the week had been super cold. Had done that like fall shift, and then that weekend, that day was like so hot. It was good sunny kind of outdoor pool day. So nice. Just had some friends over. Went for my actual birthday. We went downtown. We went to Rabbit Hole. There's a rooftop patio. Up there. Sneaky Tiki is what it's called. And the kids went up there, and my sister came with her kids, and we had the place to ourselves. And
that's cool.
But I was okay. Like, how did you feel turning 40? You're away.
Yeah, we were away. Yeah, you gave me a call on my birthday.
You're on a boat.
I was on a boat. You gave me a call.
You're fishing.
I was like, this person knows it's my birthday, or it's just random.
No.
That was a great day. That was such a fun family day, because I organized this boat trip, and we're not talking like a big fishing boat. I'm like, hey, give me a local who's got like this little boat, because we had done it the year before. Someone who can take us both fishing and snorkeling, and that's exactly what this. I can't remember his name right now, the driver, but so picked us up. We trolled to an island, to this little private beach. Got out, snorkeled. I'd caught a tuna on the way, like a small tuna. We snorkeled, messed around on the beach. My family's amazing when it comes to beach. Like, they just find stuff to explore. Like, it's a great stage. It's not about entertaining. It's about, I don't know, exploring. Yesterday we were at Dunrobin. There's a hike in Dunrobin where you can go down to the water,
right?
And it's like a rock beach.
Yeah.
Just everyone exploring, looking for rocks. No entertainment needed. It's a great stage. Anyways, when we got back, the captain had prepared like fresh raw tuna, and he had brought, this was the best part, he had brought like soy sauce and onions and an avocado. And I didn't see that coming. So anyways, between spending time with family, being on a boat, it was all the best things in one. It was a great day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And now it's our 40s.
Now we're in our 40s. I feel good though.
What do you think is there like a big shift? Do you feel like, okay, I'm turning 40, but it's just a number, whatever, and now I want to think about things a little bit differently, or I want to make a little bit of shift? Does it feel significant that way? Like, my 40s are going to be different than my 30s, or is there any shifts happening for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think like leading up to turning 40, I think I was kind of going through that sort of shift. You and I had chatted when we last spoke about it, but I just feel, I look back the last 10 years, like when I turned 30, I was pregnant with Axel. And then you look at the last 10 years, he'll be 10 in January, which is crazy to think that. But the last 10 years, I raised babies, and kind of worked my butt off, right? You're constantly on mat leave, back to work, trying to grow your career, try to, climb that corporate ladder. But being a young mom, trying to still identify yourself as, pre-kid Stacey, mom Stacey, work Stacey, trying to blend it all in. And now I feel like the next, I feel good. I feel 40, I feel comfortable, more confident, and just, sort of proud of everything I've accomplished, and just sort of just more at ease as to how this next kind of decade's going to go. I feel 40 is good. Like, you're more established. You kind of, have set bigger boundaries, in terms of your time that's all we really have is time, right? And so I feel like I have shifted in terms of like reprioritizing my time, who I'm spending it with. You could be doing a million things every day, but if it's not really filling your glass the way that it needs to, you're spending that time in the wrong ways. So it's sort of more focusing on that and figuring out, this sort of next 10 years. And our kids, like, when I look at the next 10 years, it's a huge growth for them. Yeah. Right? Like,
really
I'll be
big years.
40 to 50, which is okay. But 7 to 17 and 9 to 19, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so. I feel we'll always be doing the countdown of when they potentially leave, and constantly reevaluating priorities. Because there's always the work thing that draws you in. It's like, there's many things to draw you in. Like, if you do a little bit more of this, if you get this client, there's always these draws, and it can distract you. And have you ever have that moment where you're sitting at work and you're like, and this is not meant to sound harsh, but like, none of this matters. Do you know what I mean? You get so into the work. It's like, what is really important here? But you can get lost like really quickly. You have to have things, whether you've got good friends around you, faith, people to ask you tough questions at key times, or else you just kind of get sucked in.
I think you can totally get sucked in and drink the Kool-Aid, and it's a bit of that keeping up with the Joneses mentality too, right? Is like, you want to, kind of, when you're type A and you're an efficient sort of, overachiever, productive individual, you kind of have this to-do list all the time. And it's almost like part of that is checking off that to-do list. And as you're checking it off, I don't even know if sometimes you're really stopping to realize what you've just accomplished by checking it off, right? You're just like, okay, now moving on to the next to-do list,
Right.
Where it's more just taking back time to reflect and being like, wow, some people don't even check a to-do list off in a day or, a week or whatever your timeline is. But I think it's more just sort of taking a time, and to your point, like taking some time, thinking of, going for a walk, reflecting, whether it's spiritually or, from a religious standpoint, my kids, when you said that about religion or faith, it's like I was born in a Christian family. My grandma, who just passed away last year, she was 103. She passed away on Christmas Eve. And she said the rosary every day. And, my mom was, also kind of raised, and we were raised like that, going to church every Sunday, and, life and sports and all the kids have sort of taken, a step back from that. But in terms of us being as active as we'd like to be. But when we do go, and it's nice for the kids, but it's also, I make them say prayers, like, and be thankful for set things, like every night. So we go through that, and we sort of do this affirmation. We talk about, things that made you happy, things to, people to say extra prayers for and stuff. But I was listening to the song in the car. I listen to country music, and the kids, Drew and I have different genres of music.
Were you preparing for Keith Urban? You were going through all Keith Urban stuff, preparing for...
I wasn't,
Okay.
but I was listening to, it's that Lee Bryce song, like Love Like Crazy, and it says, like, never let your, your praying knees get lazy. And so the kids start singing along to this. And so I sort of talk to them about how, it's important to sometimes just stop and pray or stop and reflect and be thankful for where you are. Like just the fact that you're alive, breathing in the air, like doing whatever it is that you may be doing. So I think it's, taking more time to go back to the basics. I think our lifestyle is, as like even our kids' lifestyles are different than our lifestyles. We're in the pace of all of us that we all sort of grind out in a day. It's important to kind of go back to the basics and really take time to pause and reflect.
That's interesting. Yeah, my head was really busy last week. Things were really noisy, busy, and it was like I knew the thing that I had to do, and it was gratitude. Like you knew that would take you to a better place. Your brain chemistry needs it. The psychology in it needs it. It does a lot of things, right? It's we do it with our kids too. It forms a habit. Okay, we're going to stop and be thankful in a hard time, and especially if you're thanking someone specifically. So in the Christian example, you're thanking God for these things. That these things weren't just random, but that kind of the idea that he's a good God, likes to give good gifts, and then also it actually just helps with the brain chemistry because it's like there are things are good. So it's like a snapshot of reality, right? And my dad's known for being extremely positive. Like it's so easy to tease him because he could have they just went on holidays and they had like more bad things happen to them that I've seen in a row. And listening to my dad talk about it and then like talk about how he's looking forward to dinner. He's just such an easy target to tease because he is like he's wired extra gratitude like an extra positive side. So like they had this significant thing where a trailer hit their vehicle and now it's in the shop. And he's like, but Jordan, and this is him on the phone. He's like, we're gonna do we bought some mussels. We're gonna do a pasta sauce. And he's like, go. He's like, I'm like, Dad, let's just call today that today was a really crappy day. He's like, no, it's good. It's gonna be good. So, yeah, I tease him, but at the same time, like taking yourself to what's ahead and there's a lot of good stuff there. So 14 years with KPMG.
Almost 15.
Wow. What were some of what attracted you to like a large accounting firm? Because you don't have a CA background, right?
I know.
You got a business background.
Yeah, international. So I really want to be an international fashion buyer. That was actually in one of my questions that I had to answer for applications for 40 under 40.
Yeah.
Right. Remember, it says
on the video.
Yeah, or asked you if you weren't, what would be your ideal dream job?
Yeah. Whatever it was, my table made fun of me for all my answers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were giving me a really hard time.
So mine was international fashion buyer.
Okay.
Or it was to be a morning talk show host. So this is like kind of like
you're feeling good.
You're feeling good, yeah.
Something good happened here.
Yeah, you might have to drive me home. I'm not leaving. I'm just joking. No, so we graduated in a double cohort year. So like you and I graduated with kids that were older, and we were the first grade
12s and OACs. What's going to happen to the university system? It's going to be overloaded.
I know.
People aren't going to be able to get into schools, and like there was barely a ripple.
Yeah. So at a university, I actually ran a sales department at Holt Renfrew.
Holt Renfrew, downtown?
Downtown, Spark Street.
The one, yeah, Sparks.
It was the contemporary, so it was like more of the younger trend. Like not when I say younger, it was just more of the jeans and the theory suits and dealing with that from a national, like Canadian lens, like from all across Canada. We would bring in product and we would do SKU analysis based on trends and buying habits. So I ran that department and I loved it. It was something that fashion got to help select some of the lines that would come in, and you started working evenings and weekends though, right? And you had people that would come in short hour on the weekends, evenings, but you're always sort of on, big targets, sales targets, team targets, but loved it. But I actually then moved to the UK and worked for a relocation company for 6 months. Drew did a secondment over there with KPMG. I quit my job. I was not going to work. Took a visa and I was just going to chill. But I don't actually know how to chill. So I spent like one day, I think, sitting outside of like Tower Bridge in a park, and I then went to like a recruiting agency the next day. I was like, I need a job. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Just as a different pace, right?
So how'd you end up?
Drew did a secondment over. So Drew was at KPMG prior to his company now.
Okay.
And he did a secondment. So he was working with global tax over there. So I moved over there, worked at a relocation company, and my account was Google. So anyone that worked with Google that was looking to relocate, so say you were a family of 6 and you were moving from Hong Kong to California, and you had kids that needed schools, and you needed kindergarten, and you needed grade schools and high schools, and you needed a house. So I would set you up.
Moving companies,
insurance, real estate, even down to like the packing and the shipping and stuff. So super cool, because that was in 2009. Google was growing.
Still,
People were moving all over the place. Came back, decided to go back into KPMG, Holt Renfrew. But the hours, it's hard to go back when you're used to working kind of this sort of set 9 to 5. It aligned itself with Drew's hours. So anyways, Drew worked at KPMG at the time already, and his admin worked short hour at KPMG and at Holt Renfrew. She worked short hours, at Holt Renfrew. And so
because she liked fashion, or because she
needed
discount.
And then she liked she liked fashion. So she worked at KPMG, and then she worked at Holt Renfrew. You got a good discount, and
that's funny.
And so anyways, they had an opening for financial statement in the financial statement group, just processing and doing journal entries, and it was just more on the sort of processes and data entry kind of, but cool, because you still got to look at client documents and statements and stuff. So it was in that group, and then, but I took, my, I guess, attributes that I'm best in are client facing on the client service side of things. So I ended up going into recruiting. We do campus recruiting, so it's pretty competitive when kids are in school for doing their CPAs.
It is, yeah.
They do placements, and then all the big 4 companies sort of poach you and try to sell you on why our firm is the best firm. So I did that for a number of years and loved it, and got to see some really cool co-op students turn into managers and senior managers, and now
moving to partners.
Moving into partners. So it's cool to see that progression, that growth, and feel like you were kind of along for the journey. Then when I decided I was going to pivot, and there was a job opening, and it was in HR. As you progress in HR, it's hard because you can't be the person that has all the conversations with everyone at the water cooler anymore, checking in. You're the person that kind of actually doesn't really have a lot of friends, because you have to make some tough decisions sometimes, or a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with is confidential, so you're just kind of closed off book. So for me, who's extroverted and likes to build on clients and relationships, it was not. So I actually got moved into, so I started doing business development. My boss used to come down every month, and he was assigned to Ottawa, and
Toronto,
and he'd have to kind of feel out the lay of the land. And so growing up in Ottawa and being in a service industry role prior, where you had a client base, like a lot of my clientele from Holt Renfrew are actually some of my clients here at KPMG now, just because it's just from relationship. And it's that type of town.
Yeah.
It's a big city, but it's a small city.
Yeah.
And and then I've been doing that for the last 10 years. So that's kind of my career journey in a long answer.
Just one quick thing. So my dad worked for Ernst when it was Ernst & Ernst. so in the 70s.
Okay.
And his starting salary was 10,600. And then when I went to school, my good buddy Robbie joined Ernst, and they were so Ernst Ottawa was like 40, and Ernst Toronto was like 41. There's like $1,000 difference, but it's different today.
It is different today. I know, and those contracts, like, now it's about the signing bonus, and it is very
Competitive.
very competitive.
Yeah.
I always say that, and you know what, in 15 years, my knowledge and my learning has grown, and it is when you're in a big four and you have different areas and different sectors of client industries, you can really learn, and it's not about these are the clients that we want you to work on. It's like, come with us, and it is really the greatest learning experience for a young professional, because if you're interested in real estate, we'll help you get there. If you end up wanting to move into advisory and do evaluations work, and not just doing audit and looking at multiples and EBITDA and a value of a business, like, we'll help you get there. It's just, so there's tons of opportunity, and there's tons of different avenues.
So if you only know, like, if you're for those listening, your only encounter with a tax or audit firm,
Right.
accounting firm, is you see them once a year. Let's just say, like, let's say maybe a small business or personal. There's a lot of parts to an accounting firm, and growing, right? There's advisory pieces, and you may think of an accounting firm and didn't even know that somebody like a business development client specialist, being able to connect, like, how would you describe your overall? How would you describe your role? Like, what has evolved to today is introducing people, trying to understand what the business challenges are, and then connecting those dots with the resources within Ernst. Like, what's it look like today for you?
Yeah. So my role essentially is just to keep my clients happy and to develop those relationships and look for new opportunity. I think the biggest opportunity is to just listen to your clients, have that relationship where you could just give them a call and ask them, how's it going? How's your business doing? Entrepreneurs love talking about, their businesses. If they would love to know, even if there's a question that you might not necessarily know, like, who's your biggest competitor? Sometimes we're anxious to maybe not know that answer ahead of time, but to actually be open and honest and have that, sort of multi-way relationship, where if you need to ask them a question or they need to ask you a question. But I would just say that it's understanding your client and having low self-interest, and being able to just help service them and get them to achieve their goals and have their growth targets accomplished by you being able to connect them, bringing in the right subject matter expert, asking them some of the questions, like, what are some things that you're looking to do in the next 5 to 10 years? What's your growth plan? Like, how can we be a help to that, right? Like, to your point, accounting firms were basic. It was tax and audit. You would only hear from them once a year, when you either had to pay the bill or you had to sign to get your statements filed. But now it's just kind of understanding. There's technology. It's just evolved, and there's efficiencies and processes and improvements all day long. Like, we do people in change work, bringing in people to help change management in an organization. Like, everyone now mandating to be back into the office again, right? Like, just helping with transitions like that. Like, it's wild to know, to realize like all the services that you can kind of bring forward.
It's probably more rewarding for you, because it's not like you're not just trying to solve one problem, right? You're actually you get to listen and then piece together what services could be of help and connect. Like, that's in terms of selling one product, to be able to sell a bunch of things, especially if you believe in them too, and that they could do a good job, whether it's like cyber risk or change management, like you mentioned, of those things. It's fun to be able to help them with more pieces of the pie than just one, right? Like, if you had to change your job tomorrow and just go and deal with whether it's audit and tax, it probably wouldn't be as fun as the tool toolkit that you have right now.
Yeah, no, and exactly. It's just, and you yourself as a professional, you learn and you just expand so much by picking up on what are some of the trends,
Yeah.
what are people seeing in the market, what are businesses doing, right? Like,
Right.
you know, you see, less like back in the day, like, when you look at your career, like family businesses, it was always sort of ingrained that it was going to be passed down to the next generation.
Yeah.
And we do help with a lot of the planning and the structuring around that. And, that's sort of an avenue that I was really, interested in, because it's cool to see that, to just see those stages of the business kind of go through. But now you're almost seeing there's a different side to it. Some of the next generation, like if I asked you, like, what do you sort of see for your kids? Like, do you eventually, like, I know they're a lot younger, but, there's times where we have client conversations and they don't know if their children are interested in the business. So now they have management buyouts and they have other, sort of, executive leadership or an executive team that they come in that's non-family, right? So it's just a different landscape, and it's an interesting. It always kind of keeps you on your toes.
And I think statistically, I don't know the number, but boomers are selling. Like, it's not going to the next. There's a lot of cases, or there's a higher, like for my father, he came back to the business. He always thought that he would, so maybe this is an exception. He always thought that he would, but he was working for Ernst downtown Toronto, and my grandfather had a stroke, so he came back. But for those who built the business in some of the harder times, it was an assumption that there wasn't as many conversations about what do you want,
Yeah.
right? And what's your gifting? There was assumptions, and my dad did feel a good, probably my parents felt a good, healthy pressure. My grandfather's sick. They're going to come back and support the business, and he loved it. And same with me. I came back to the business, even though I had done it for like 9 summers, and I loved it. But there is more choice now, and I think millennials and boomers. Sorry, I missed a generation there. Gen, who's in between us?
Gen
Z?
Z, yeah.
They're more open to a dialogue and not putting that pressure there. So there's more non-family succession and sales happening, and the owners need to get their head around that and understand their options. And then there's, great firms that are coming alongside to help
with those sales.
set the stage for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you study?
So I started at Bishop's University, and then I transferred.
Go Lennoxville.
Yeah. And then I transferred to Carleton.
Would you Carleton University? That's Heidi and I. We were there 2004 to 2009. I got 1 degree. She got 2 in those 5 years.
She obviously studied better than you, more harder than you did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, for sure.
Is that how you guys met?
There's a few. We met at Carleton. There was the organization that we worked for before coming back to Wills was called Power to Change. So it was a Christian. It was a Christian student ministry.
Okay.
So we got involved at Carleton, and the club was, at that time, it was called C4C, or Campus for Christ. Now it's called Power to Change. And so we hosted events, and we did a bunch of stuff to stimulate conversation on campus. Do you ever remember in your second year? So you started in 2004?
3.
Oh, but you didn't get to Carleton until
what year? 2004.
So we had this campaign. Do you ever remember seeing a whole bunch of orange T-shirts and it says "I agree with Percy"? So we did this campaign, and it was "I agree with Percy," and it's like, who's Percy? And then it leads to finding out who Percy is, and then Percy comes and shares his story. And so he was from Africa, he came to Canada, and just like talking about his spiritual journey. So we did events like that, and then we had small groups. We joined the organization, and then because we went on some summer mission trips as well, and then came back to the business. I forget where I was going with this, other than to say
we both went to the same university.
We both went to Carleton.
Yeah.
2004 to 2009.
Yeah, graduated in 2009. Yeah.
So I had international business peers in some of my classes, but not all. Like I remember my second year classes, like stats and some other classes where IB people were in there. So, did you do a high school IB program?
No,
Okay.
no, no, I did not.
Did
Did
you
you?
meet Drew at Carleton?
No, Drew's 5 years older than I am.
Okay.
Drew went to Ottawa U actually.
That's a double controversial
I
point
know.
there. 5 years older and Ottawa U.
Yeah, he's
Very
from Sault
sketchy.
Ste. Marie.
Okay.
So
So is his French better than yours?
no, like I don't even think he. We're looking at Axel's homework last night, and I asked him. I said, "Did you ever take French?" And he's like, "No, but I got some French award." I said, "From doing what?" Anyway, so Axel's in immersion now, so it's like,
But Drew got an award?
yeah, for a French award. I said, "For what?" And he's like, "I don't know. Like I guess in high school he must have taken it, but
It's probably effort based, the
yeah,
award.
yeah." I took French, and then when I moved to Germany when I was younger, and I am fluent in German. So for international business, you have to pick a language, and so German was my language of choice. And I will say that I thought that was the easy way out because I actually knew the language prior to signing up in university.
Oh,
But the
yeah,
thing is that it's different when you actually just learn a language as a child and you're just told, like you just pick up on it. And
you were
don't
eight.
really
You were eight
question
when
it.
you went to
Yeah,
Germany?
you don't question it. Actually, I think I was 9. Yeah, I was in grade 4. It's the same age as how Axel is right now. And you don't question it. But then learning the language in like your 20s and understanding it and learning it and understanding why, it's kind of a little bit of twists with your mind because you know the answer, but you don't really know how you're getting to the answer. You kind of go back to figure out how to get to the answer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like show your work.
Mm-hmm.
Those questions where you get only partial marks because you didn't show your work, but you know the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people, and like French is like that, where you grew up in Ottawa, and you hear it, and you're like, I can hear what's going on in this conversation, but please don't get me to get up and say something,
Yeah,
right? Like a lot of people in Ottawa who,
I know.
yeah, my oldest is in high school, and she's in French immersion, and she is like, I got this, Dad.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think, and my second oldest, she likes trialing it. My sister has an international student from France, and they like experimenting. So I think they are on a better path than I was. Like Smith Falls kid, no French immersion, grade 9, got a 54, and just no real motivation no real, not seeing the benefits.
54.
Yeah, don't.
I forgot about those marks. I used to get them in like.
I had an academic journey that involved some regrouping moments and some hard work for sure. It did not come easy. Yeah. So my first report card was a midterm report card first year high school, and it was a 59. And my dad, who knew me and wasn't like hard on me about education, but he's like, "We got to do something here, Jord." This was the conversation. He's like, "I'm sorry, but you can't play football or sports anymore if you don't get at least a 70." And I know why he was doing it. And like I never felt the pressure to like make him proud with marks. He let me be that. So anyways, the next report card came in at 70.8.
Perfect.
And
so you continued with the sports.
continued playing sports. But it was good that he did that. He found the exact thing that needed to be the carrot. Found the carrot.
You played football?
Played football, yeah, and played football and hockey. Did everything, except for badminton. I was cut from the badminton team. But yeah, grade 9 was like football, hockey, high school basketball, yeah, anything. My poor parents just driving me places.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But I mean, small town. This was a good thing to spend our time on.
Yeah, it's true.
And it was fun. And like the football coaches were teachers, and they were old school, and you loved it. And it was a badge of honor. Way of rite of passage type thing. So yeah, it was a sports town for sure.
I think it helps contribute though, like being on sporting teams. Both my kids are over committed all the time to sporting, but I think it helps shape personality and growth just as an individual, being a part of sportsmanship, good work ethic, good attitude. Like it's all important qualities that like are very transferable into the workforce and to being, a strong
100%.
professional, I hope.
Yeah, and to this day, like I'd rather work out in a group class and I'd rather be part of a team than work from home and try and exercise myself. And that's 100% because sports was so fun. It's so better to do it with people. And yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So 15 years with one of the big firms, and we talked about that there's a lot more opportunities to come alongside and support companies than there used to be. Like there's more services and value added pieces.
Yeah.
Any other shifts you've seen in the accounting world in 15 years? Like, yeah, any shifts?
Just more of the adoption and, with technology, being able to bring in more technology to help improve, even just like our processes in terms of, being able to deliver our work. And the adoption of technology, which is just huge, right? Like,
does KPMG have a space right now internally that you can play around with AI? Like,
Yeah.
is there space to do that?
Like we have our own chat GPT
Yeah.
that's compliant, that obviously, right, in terms of like client data and all that, like we're able to use it. And that's how we come up with it. But yeah, it's cool. Like we use Copilot as well, and I can have emails sort of already ready to, they give me like a pre-draft as to like a response to an email. I don't love it because it's not as personalized, and I feel like I like maybe using it as an example, but you have to still kind of sandwich it with like your own content. But I would just say just the adoption of technology, and we're going back to a bit more of the basics and trying to really focus on that client experience. Being COVID, we have more people working remote than we ever used to. People used to be more in the office working on a file in the same file room, being able to bounce ideas off of management and peers. So I think it's a little bit more of trying to be more productive, efficient, implement as much technology to help accomplish all of that. But then it's sort of more back to the basics by picking up the phone. Don't send a client an email. Pick up the phone and ask them the question instead. Grab lunch with your client. Invite them to a sporting event or Keith Urban or
Keith Urban, yeah.
So
I think there's lots of value in that. Like, it's I think that was determined pretty early on as marketing will evolve and adopt a lot of technology, right? When you think about like graphics, sounds, videos, campaigns, timing, like there's so much there. It's almost like AI will be marketing to AI, but there's a huge component that like the relationship, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice, and that's peace of mind, because as humans we want that. We want to you want to be checked in on or listened to, etc. And so, but yeah, there are a lot of tools. We're exploring it at Wills. We're using there's a small startup in Ottawa. They come in and they do an assessment and see how your people feel about it. And so they kind of do this survey, and then they start mapping a bit of a roadmap for you. So we're at the early stages of that.
Okay.
So we'd be looking to our teams to show where some bottlenecks are and some redundancies or challenges, and then building things around that. So it's not a quick thing. Like we talked about the podcast world, and you can listen to a podcaster who's maybe been part of a startup or even a large firm and used AI, and it's transformed their business and it's led to reduction in costs, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's not the majority from in chatting with people. Like, it is helping, it is supporting. I think that it completely revolutionizing a company or an industry is good on them if that sets you up for long-term success. But nobody would want to do anything crazy rash anyways when it comes to people, right, and culture. And we know that technology can enhance. But anyways, those stories are tricky sometimes, because you hear about, oh, it can do everything. It can revolutionize your process and blah, blah, blah. So, and then it's like, well, we have a firm and they're helping us, and it's not going to change us overnight. It's definitely not going to change our culture. And I hope that there are some good things that come from it.
And change is hard, right? Like change in itself is just hard to adapt. Like,
Yeah.
and but it's all to your point. Like it's so
Mm-hmm.
important to keep your existing culture as to why people like
Yeah.
working and doing what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have somebody that you've had a receptionist for however many years and they're a long-term loyal employee and they love answering the phones, and then you sort of try to replace that with a generic automated system, right? Like I don't know what, I wouldn't say that implementing something like that's going to evolve or help your business, like, right? I think
Find the key.
I find there's a fine line with like adopting to that AI technology. Like going back, like I think it actually is a bit negative on our workforce in terms of like this next generation of workforce. Like our kids, like when we had to pick up the phone or invite someone over or go to apologize to your neighbor, you know, because you threw something on their lawn and your parents are making you apologize. Like you used to have to have that
example. Go apologize.
Well, yeah, like right, go apologize to, you know, Mrs. Smith down the street. You know, you're riding your bike on her grass or whatever it used to be. Like you used to have to go and have that face to face, those awkward moments. You'd have to kind of call on a client or call up to pick up, you know, to schedule a meeting. You couldn't hide behind text all the time. And so my daughter, she's in grade 2 and she's doing her homework and she gets a word wall word every night and she's supposed to write a sentence with it. Well, I have to sign off on it. And like her spelling is perfect. And she does it in our kitchen at the island. And I'll let her go, like let her be and let her figure it out. She's asking Google. We have one of those Google bots. Hey, Google, how do you spell homework? And then Google spells homework.
Yeah.
So that's a bit different, right? Whereas like, is that helping? It's helping her get it right, but is she learning?
Yeah, it'll take away, there'll be like, in the parenting and education world, there will be hopefully really good thought towards how do we protect so that, because spelling is one of those ones, it's like, it's really important you spell, but at the same time, you're in a digital world, and so you just need to get some of it right. Let's just say that one's not like critical, but imaginative thought, right? To be able to, in business development, to be able to step away, go for a walk, and then it comes to you. You're like, that's not what the client needs. They need this. And that can only come through getting yourself in the right headspace to do that. And there'll be some ChatGPT primers there, which actually may stimulate thought. But at the end of the day, you really need that imaginative thought, because
and you need to have the connection or that personal relationship to be able to drive any of that opportunity. You could do all the research you want on what that business development opportunity could be. You could probably plug in, like you could take your entire business like website, plug it into our researcher on Copilot. They could probably give me a list of items that I could think that Wills Transfer needed to improve. But if I don't know anyone at Wills Transfer Limited, that report's not really going to be of value. I could send an email, but if there's no personal relationship, there's no trust on both ends, you're not gonna see any of that ROI.
100% digital and content does not translate to trust. It is pumping the algorithm full of digital credibility, which can give you a better ranking position, you know. But you know, one of our sales team, that's number one, is the lead comes in and then it's a phone call. There's no automated. They make an automated response that they've submitted a thing, but the phone call follows, and that always has to be there, right? We will be the ones to pick up the phone and call. And I agree with you, like in your personal life, is if you have to deliver somewhat, you can just tell that it needs this could be interpreted a certain way, call, right? So that they can hear the tone. I would love for us to shift for some calls.
Back to the basics.
Personal and professional, right? So you can make sure you know, hear the tone in the email as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting times in business development. And like you said, it is also a time where you can thrive because of the trust in relationships. What is a few, like along your career, who have been some key people that have shaped your thinking or influenced you on career or family? Like who have been some of the people along the way in the last few decades?
Few decades.
Because now we speak in decades
I
because of our
know.
age.
So I would say like my grandma was always like a big role model of mine. Like she was born, like she passed away at 103. She was like lived through wars and recessions, and she lost her mom when she was young, and so she had 6 kids, and so my grandfather was an alcoholic, and so she was the breadwinner of the family most of the time, and had to put 6 kids sort of through schooling and get through life. And but you would never ever if you ever met her, she was the most humble, genuine person. She just kind of always just sucked it up and got it done. So I always really admired her just positivity on life, even though of all the hard times she went through. So she was sort of someone that I always just sort of really valued. But I would say, like over the years, like I've worked with a lot of really great mentors. Grant McDonald was our old office managing partner. He manages our Barbados office now. So he left Ottawa and is in Barbados, lucky guy. But he was always a big supporter and kind of always helped me on the right sort of career path. And I'd say a lot of the partners that I work with over the years, especially in our enterprise space. But then I've kind of developed this core group of like female market leaders, where we're all sort of either in business development or leading, from a philanthropic perspective. So there's sort of a few women in Ottawa that I've kind of developed relationships with over the years, all the events we've been to, and we kind of formed this sort of mentorship group where we call ourselves the Phenomenal Ladies. And it's like this, just a group chat. And even if we don't really communicate, we'll send each other like a meme or, a snippet of a reel that we've seen on social media, just to kind of inspire and kind of help encourage and support each other. But I would say it's the people that you surround yourself with. Most people, my husband's been really great at sort of supporting me and helping me, balance a career on top of, parenthood. But yeah.
What was like in the last few years? What was like a really great convo with your grandma? By the way, you talked about her attitude.
Yeah.
So Heidi's grandparents on her dad's side, German. They came from the Bavaria area.
Yeah.
Came over on the boat, and like, what an amazing perspective what an amazing perspective. She came out of the war, and she had personal tragedy, but came out thankful somehow, right? And she's an amazing lady. But so my kids don't have any frame of reference for somebody who's been through a war and had to immigrate and leave everything. And you're either going to be grumpy, resentful, right? Or you're going to be thankful that each day is a new day. Did you have any great chats with?
Well, I think she was so she was so strong with her faith, right? She did the rosary every day. Like I think she really used that to help balance that. But great moments. You know what? The best is like, her memory was always like bang on. Like her eyesight started to go, but her memory was always bang on. And I'd go visit her and we'd sit on her couch, and she loved to laugh, and she always thought that because her generation, everything was perfect. Like you shoved everything under the rug. You would never tell anyone that you were having a bad day or anything like that. So she would, she'd say, how are the kids? I'm like, they're driving me crazy. And she thought it was so funny because I was just so open and honest with her. And I'm like, they are. Like they actually they don't listen. They're fighting. Like our morning was like crappy. Yeah. And she thought that was so funny because you would never have ever spoken like that in public, or let alone said that about your kids. And I'll tell my kids, you aren't behaving well. But anyways, but she loves to tell jokes. So I'll tell this joke.
Sure, that's how you say it.
No,
guys, you aren't behaving very well. I'm sure that's how you say it.
Yeah. Well, I'm being recorded right now, so you know what I mean. I don't want you to have to like beep out the
Yeah.
recording, like beep, you know?
Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
She told me this. She loved telling jokes, and so it was quiet one time, and it was actually at the dinner table. She used to come up to my parents for dinner, and she goes, "Guys, I have a joke to tell you." And I was like, "Oh
Oh,
God,
whoa, yeah.
this could go in
Yeah.
all different kinds of directions." And so she said, "So there's this man. He was the richest man in the world. He was rich, so rich, and he said to his wife, 'When I die, I want you to go to the bank and I want you to take out every single penny, like down to the last penny, and I want you to bury it with me.'" And she said, "Okay." He's like, "Okay, so that's the plan. Okay, that's the plan." So I guess years passed and the man passed away. And so her friend, the woman's friend, knew about this. So the woman's friend said, "So what'd you do?" She's like, "I did what he asked. I went to the bank. I took out every single last penny. And when we buried him, I wrote him a check and threw the check in with him." So, and I thought it was good. Like, I was like, yeah, hell right. Yeah, take that guy's money. You know, obviously she was entitled to the money too. So, you
She
know,
was, yeah. What a weird request from that guy.
take all of his money and bury it with him. And so,
How
yeah,
dare.
he got a big check.
You know what it was? It was like probably like a cultural threat. He's like, you know what you're gonna do? You don't get any of the money. Buried
Probably.
with me. It was like
Yeah.
some threat.
Yeah, that whole, yeah.
In a marriage fight, yeah.
And whereas that woman, like, was entitled to half, if not all of it. But anyways.
So on humorous things, we're gonna close with this.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're gonna close with this. I try and limit the amount of scrolling, but I was scrolling last night, and I woke up, Heidi, because I was laughing so hard. And it was from a movie where a guy chucked something into the abyss, and it was, "This is what your wife does with her phone after she sends you the grocery list while you're at the grocery store." And it's just this guy just chucking his phone. I couldn't get enough of it because, like, men, we panic. Like, if we get bad feedback on getting the wrong thing, or if something's not there, like, we need that to be able to make that call, and you're there, so that we can pivot properly and not come home, you know, with changes. We do online grocery orders now, so I'm in that situation a lot less more. But anyways, you talked about sharing memes, and I was like, this is a good one. I've been in the grocery store. Weird note to end on, but it has been awesome chatting. I feel like we could do another round 2 of more career, more family stuff. But thanks so much, Stacey, for being on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah.